I didn't know I was meeting a dominatrix all day, and you absolutely made my day. You also successfully helped me produce my mom's least favorite episode. Like, I already know I am getting a call, and she is going to hate every moment of this, and that brings me joy too. Sorry, Yvonne, okay? Oh my God. Hi, friends. This is Wildly Unprepared, the show where I get to talk to the most incredible people I've never met and know absolutely nothing about. Like, literally nothing. It's all a complete mystery to me. I'm your unprepared host and new best friend, Tyler Mount. Each episode, myself and my other best friend, Ashley,
hi girls,
producer to the stars, aka me, gossip and kiki about life and talk to some of the most interesting people on the planet. I hope you're prepared, because I'm certainly not.
Okay, got the thumbs up. Oh my God. Just one wire. Okay. That's fine.
I'm like, this is absolutely
oh
fucking
my,
insane.
where's my light?
Ashley?
Do we like this?
Yeah. Do you have a mic stand yet?
No.
Why don't you order a mic stand on the company card? We've asked you to do this multiple times.
No, every time I say, where's my mic stand? You say, we've ordered it. You have never once told me that. I've never seen a company card in my life. But that's a really cute narrative you're trying to spin.
Ashley, welcome to the podcast.
That was a rude welcome.
What was rude about that? I was so sweet.
No, the hostile part before
I don't know what you're talking. I don't know what you're talking about, because I'm hoping that our producer Kate cuts it
out. Yeah.
So
I'm
you
so
just seem like
sure.
you're gaslighting me. Well, Ashley, it's the first
Kate,
time
don't
we're
do
filming
that
the
to me.
podcast in Austin, Texas, where I am officially expanded
Well,
to.
I'm in New York still.
Well, I am in Austin. Look at the
Yeah.
background.
The expansion, it's
Tony
all
Awards.
different now. And it's the first podcast we filmed since the launch.
It is. Oh,
which is crazy because what are you doing?
I'm turning on the lights here. You know what I mean? Like, look.
Ooh, with the remote. That's nice.
Oh, baby, that's sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, you can see the Tony, baby.
Okay, hit us with the Austin twang.
Austin twang. Let me tell you, living in Austin is like really fun. I feel like I took an exhale and didn't know that I was holding my breath in the first place. We have Tex-Mex. I run around Lady Bird Lake almost every day shirtless. There are so many hot men here. I go to Barry's on Wednesdays. I work out in my gym's building. This month, Henry was named the dog of the month of the building.
Love.
Huge.
Love.
Huge
success.
I'm going on tons of first dates. I had 2 really good first dates for the first time in a long time this week. Good.
Ooh, give me the highlights.
One is, oh God, I feel like this is the worst idea ever. But
okay,
I guess
then you brought
I'm
it
like,
up.
they won't listen. But I'm like, I went on a date with an orthodontist. So cute, so sweet.
Love.
He's
could do the
really
full
handsome. We had
exam.
I'm like, he did not give me a dental exam or an oral exam.
Oral exam.
Okay. Ew. No, he didn't do that. We just like flirted at a restaurant, and we actually had incredibly good conversation. It was like in depth and it was deep, and we were talking about gay culture and what we like about it and what we don't like about it, and what he feels like he's missing in his life, and why he loves Austin and why he doesn't like Austin. And I was just like, I felt very connected. That was good.
I love that.
Then, Ashley, I have a narrative for you.
What?
Let me tell you. I met a very cute boy at a run club.
You were dying to join a run club.
I was dying to join a run club, and I finally did it. And let's take a step back. Do you want to hear this story, Ashley?
What if I'm like, no?
Okay, we can sit in silence.
I'm just kidding, of course.
Okay.
I want to hear the goss.
I wanted to join a run club for a long time. So that's exactly what I did. So one of my buddies from college, Patrick, is like incredible cyclist. Like, he's like a world-class semi-pro cyclist. Crazy. Okay. He's also like 6'5".
Does he know Lance Armstrong?
He did ride on his team.
Shut up.
Yeah. So all kidding aside, yes. This was pre-doping. But
Only
anyway,
cyclists I know.
Yeah, that's true. Same. And so the moral of the story is he's super tall, and he he runs, but he's like a cyclist first and foremost. He like casually ran his marathon in like 2 hours and 12 minutes. I'm like,
Same.
I'm like,
Same, I do that
that
all the
is so
time.
fucking fast. Anyway, so we were getting drinks and he was like, "Oh, you should come to Raw Run. It's one of like the 5 running groups here." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds fun. I love to meet new people." So I'm driving up to Raw and let me tell you, I am so nervous. Like
Mhm.
I want to die. Like I want to crawl out of my skin. I texted Kate. I was on GPT being like, I feel like I'm going to kindergarten for the first time. I'm like, I was so nervous. My heart was racing.
Just because there were new people? Because I'm
Yes.
like, you're a good runner. You run.
Well, I was like, I'm going to be the most disgusting pile of trash, and I won't
Oh,
be able
this
to run, blah,
narrative.
blah, blah, blah,
Okay.
blah. But
Yeah, you're
also, I
like
was like,
2
oh my
left
God,
feet,
I
you
hope
can't
they like
run.
me. And I'm just going to
Yeah, yeah,
stand
yeah,
there
yeah, yeah.
alone. Anyway,
But you went with a friend.
I did go with Patrick, but he's going
Okay.
to run really fast. I'm never pacing with him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I didn't know what to expect, but typically, run clubs, you like go and do a jog and then you get beers, right?
Yeah.
So I'm standing there with Patrick and he's like, I really love this run club because it's not the most elite, but it's like for people who take running and athletics seriously. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh God. Okay.
The way I would have run away,
Yeah, let me tell you. And
immediately.
then
You're telling
he's
me
like,
that? Goodbye.
he's like, okay. The guy starts talking who runs the thing and is like, okay, I'll tell you what the workout is when we get there. So everyone, let's go ahead and run to the workout. And I'm like, okay, great, right around the corner. Like we were behind a restaurant. So we're gonna jog right to the nope, nope, nope,
Mhm.
nope, nope, nope. 1.7 miles later, we have arrived at the workout. I've already ran 2 miles.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, if I show up to work out and the first thing out of someone's mouth is like, "Let's get to the workout," I can't see the workout where I was told to meet, we gotta go. Like,
Well, let
why
me
am I
tell
not
you,
at the workout?
I didn't. I didn't go because that's terrifying and scary. Okay. So we get there and then the workout is going up in South Austin. There's a massive hill and there are just, 2 vertical streets and then streets in between like a little ladder. And you would jog up the small part of the ladder and then sprint across to the other side of the street and then jog and then sprint and then jog and then sprint. And I am like losing my fucking mind. Like
That sounds
it
miserable.
was miserable. And
Can we
after
just
10 minutes, you
put
turn
this
around and do it
hill
again.
can we just put this hill into scale for me? Because I've never been to Austin, but are we talking like Princess Diaries, that giant hill her car rolls down? Is that
Oh,
the hill we're
yes.
working
It is
on?
steep. It
Okay.
is steep. It
That's
is
simply not for me.
steep. And so
Is
then
it
once you
steep
do
though?
10 miles, what?
Is it steep?
Yes, I'm confused your question. It's very steep. Do
You
you need me
said
to
it
say
like
it one
8
more time?
times.
I know, and then I was confused why you were asking. Anyway, listen. Okay, so then you turn around and you go all the way back, okay? Which is not fun. And then the workout was done and you have to jog 2 miles back to the starting place.
Why?
Anyway, I did it cuz I wasn't going to look like a loser. Anyway,
No,
so
I get that, but I'm like, why did you have to like, what was back at the starting place? Why
my
did you have to go
car,
back there? Oh.
that's where we
Oh.
started. Anyway,
Oh.
so all of that to say, then we had a couple of beers and I met a cute boy and then I smooched him. Sue
Did
me.
your legs fall off the next
No, I was
day?
good.
Like,
I wasn't
okay,
even sore.
see? Okay, you were
I
fine.
was fine. And I'm going to go back.
Easy.
I think I'm going to
Of
do it
course you
again.
are. Of course
I'm
you are.
I'm a psychopath. But anyway,
Do they
that
do
was
the
my run
same thing
club.
every time though?
No, 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 no. It's a new
Oh,
workout
okay.
every time. And typically it's
Okay.
on like on a track and it's a partner workout. And you do one lap
Oh.
and then hit hands with someone and then they run. And
How
then,
many people are in this?
I would guess like 150 people were there. It's big.
Got you. So potential to smooch 150 people.
Absolutely. Well, some of them were girls, so deeply disinterested.
As if you've never kissed one of those.
I did kiss a girl, and at the time I did like it, but now we do not like it.
What do you
You have nothing.
mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
Are you gay?
Okay, you can't dox me like that. Okay, I'm not gay. I just like smooching boys.
Okay.
Who are we to put a title on anything? What's
That's
happening in
so
Ashley's life?
true.
I've told you about my run club in Austin. What have you been doing over there? You should tell everyone what you and I are doing.
I am being swept away from JFK, where I land from Charleston,
Yep.
to go somewhere in this world that has the similar climate as Seattle in
Correct.
April.
Yep.
And that's all I have. That's all the knowledge I have. But I do know I need a passport.
Travel. Correct. Yeah. I love travel and I love surprise travel. And so I am surprising Ashley. I got an opportunity to go somewhere and I was like, I love traveling with Ashley. So I am going to take Ashley somewhere not in the United States, hence us needing a passport, with a similar weather palette to Seattle. And we're going to have a 4-day adventure, drinking, eating, living our best life. And
to allegedly, though, do our favorite thing, which is like drink martinis and eat a steak, which is where I'm like really thrown off.
Okay, so to be fair, that is, without getting too specific, that is the reason we're going. And that is the main event. Specifically,
eating steak?
There is a very specific moment of steak eating. Yes.
Stop.
Okay. But anyway, it's going to be a good time and it's on Tai, baby.
We love it. We love it.
Okay. Well, honestly, everyone out there is waiting with bated breath, wondering what it is, but I'll tell everyone and we'll recount it after we go in April. Okay?
Are you going to like slip it in at the end of this podcast?
Nope.
I won't listen, I promise.
No. We're not slipping it in. Anyway, enough about that. Enough about me. Enough about you. It's all about our guest today that I know nothing about. Ashley, tell me who we have today on the podcast.
Today, we're meeting with Portland, Oregon-based femme fatale Princessa Natasha Strange. She's a professional dominatrix, BDSM your face. BDSM educator and coach who engages in power exchange sessions with her client. She's been quoted in Playboy, Hustler, and Business Insider. I feel like this is one of your dream guests.
Oh my God, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. What's her name?
Princessa Natasha Strange. I don't know if we call her Princessa or Natasha, but I feel like Princessa
Natasha Strange. Okay, baby girl, let my dominatrix queen in. Oh,
hello.
My
Hello.
God. Natasha Strange, thanks for joining us today. You should have seen my reaction
you're welcome.
when I found out who was coming today, okay? Because the second I heard Princessa Natasha Strange, BDSM master, I am sold. I have 500 questions for you, and I'm going to ask them all, no holds barred, and we're going to have a good time. Thanks for joining us on the podcast today, Natasha.
I hopefully will have all the answers.
I bet you do. Now, let's start with the obvious question. Do I call you Natasha, Princessa, Mrs. Strange, Miss Strange, Master Strange? Like, how do we refer to you?
I actually, my name is Natasha Strange. My honorific is Princessa. A lot of people don't like going by their honorifics, but I actually do. I enjoy going by Princessa all the time.
Okay, Princessa, let's have a good time. Let's start with the obvious question. What the fuck is an honorarium? What is it? An honor? What is it? What did you just say?
My honorific?
Yeah, what's your honorific?
My honorific, anybody has an honorific when they are in kink. So an honorific is like Mr., Mrs., Thembo, Chef. Hey, Chef is a good one lately. So when you're in a kink relationship or a kink dynamic or the kink anywhere out at a kink party, you can decide on your own honorific, and your honorific can be anything that you identify with.
I love this, Natasha. Okay, so I've already chosen my honorific, and
Excellent.
I would like to be called Headmaster Mount.
There you go, Headmaster.
But I love that.
I mean, like, it's really, really good. And I think that, Ashley, your honorific, if I had to guess, would be like Huntress Ashley.
Ooh, okay.
I'm Headmaster Mount, your Huntress Ashley. And we obviously have the one and only Princessa Natasha Strange. So let's dive in, okay? Because I'm going to ask you every single question.
Tops?
Are we both tops? I don't even know what the fuck that means. Well, I'm gay, so like we would consider me verse. Like I'm, God, my mom's gonna hate this episode. I'm like top and bottom. You know what I mean? Like, I'm versed.
Versatile. Yes, you're
I'm
a switch.
versatile. It depends the mood and the person. Like, I'm not one size fits all, okay? Ashley is definite what can a girl be a top?
What?
Uh,
No.
I don't know. Doesn't it involve having a wiener?
Don't make me get my dick out. But really,
Oh,
there's
do it, do it, do it.
Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh, she is literally getting her dick out. Okay.
I
Wait.
don't know where this. We haven't talked about this. I don't know where this
Okay,
is going to
great.
be aired.
Okay.
So women can be. So the reason I asked you if you identify as a top, because most people hear headmaster and they think, oh, that's definitely a top. A dominant. But the thing is that what I like to point out to people is that a headmaster can actually be the submissive. The headmaster can be the bottom. The headmaster doesn't like your honorific is who you feel inside, but that does not necessarily reflect the activities or the mindsets that you enjoy within kink. I like to point out that it's a lot like gender. You may be assigned one genitalia at birth, but that genitalia is not necessarily defining the actions and activities and the haircuts that you enjoy.
I love this. So let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
How would you describe very very like physically, like generally speaking, what BDSM is and what you do?
Okay, so I am a lot of things. I'm a professional dominatrix first and foremost, which is what most people know me as. I'm also an educator. I wrote a book about kink that is from people who are getting interested and want an approachable way to look at it. But physically, what do I do? That is the wrong way to come at this question, actually.
Mm.
Most of people come into BDSM actually wanting to explore feelings. They're wanting to explore emotions. They're wanting to inspire emotions and feelings in other people. So a lot of the things that we're coming into when you come into the dungeon is you're coming in to escape, right? You want to come in to do things and be people that maybe you're not on the outside world, right? And so the way that you reach those feelings and those emotions is through the physical activities.
Okay. The more you talk, the more questions I have. Let's
I
go to this
know.
dungeon. Okay. Dungeon. I think 50 Shades of Grey, basement,
Immediately.
like literally chain
A
me up
red light
and
for
spank me
sure.
all night. Definitely red light therapy. It helps your
Yeah.
skin and adds to the moon. Okay. Do
Yeah.
you, I mean, I'm assuming you have a dungeon, right? Oh
Oh, we're
my
in the
God. Okay.
dungeon.
Babe,
Ugh.
you are calling from the dungeon. Okay. Oh my God, I am obsessed with you. Okay, so we're in the dungeon right now, which is just like a collection of apparatuses and tools that you use in your profession as a dominatrix. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and let's start there. Okay, so how do you engage with clients, or are you doing this with just like sexual partners you already feel comfortable with, or like could I, asking for a friend, hire you to do dominatrix stuff to me?
I offer power exchange and coaching sessions to anybody. So yes, you could actually hire me to coach you, to top you, to do things to you, to
Mhm.
I don't know.
Oh my God, I am so thrilled
And
you're
so
here.
this is the thing. I heard a rumor that you might be gay. But
There is a rumor
I
on the
just found
street.
out today too. Yeah.
Yeah, a rumor. Okay, I know.
It's
Okay,
really
so let's hear.
shocking.
so but I have topped gay men before. I've topped
Okay,
straight women, which probably isn't as shocking to anybody because
okay.
thinking about that is immediately going to their own lesbian fantasies.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
because power exchange doesn't necessarily involve typical sexual desire and that whole penis and vagina thing or penis in
Mhm.
any orifice goes, right out the window. So you have to talk about a lot more things and a lot more of the desires and a lot more of the like, how do I reach this? And sometimes that is with a particular person who has a particular skill, not necessarily the people that you're normally attracted to sexually.
Heard. Okay. Let's paint this picture though, Princessa. Okay. Let's
No.
paint this picture. Let's paint this picture. Okay. 2 questions. I'll start with the first, okay? What is like the most unforgettable scene that you've ever orchestrated? Like, what
Ooh.
is the most like advanced, over the top thing that you've done as a dominatrix?
Um, I've been doing this for 31 years, so
Mhm.
there's a lot of scenes that come to mind, and
Mhm.
my typical is like, the last one that I did, because they're all great in their own way. Um, I think probably the most outrageous, though, is I used to have a crossdresser that would come to see me, and they wanted to be in, first we were going out to dinner with them dressed, and then we'd go to a club with them dressed, and then we'd have like friends of mine go out to dinner as like a girls' night thing. And it just kept growing. And sometimes when you're exploring things, every step you take takes you a little bit further and you want to do more, right?
Mhm.
So when
Mhm.
he got to the point where he wanted to enact this role play, where he actually rented an office, signed a lease on an office space, a small office space in the San Francisco Bay Area. I don't even wanna know. It was not like a fancy upscale, but it was still
Mhm.
an office that he signed a lease because he wanted to play Harriet. Harriet was gonna win a Corvette, except for Harriet was gonna have found out when she arrives to pick up her Corvette that it is only women that were supposed to enter. And so in order to get her Corvette, she is going to be cross-dressed into a woman and then handed the keys in front of the whole staff of office, which were friends of mine that came in to enact this role play. There was no nudity, there was no sexual release, it was just the
Role
humiliation
play.
to come into this very vanilla office with a bunch of women in suits and be forced to cross dress.
Wait, that's so interesting because I think we think about when you're talking about these feelings you're bringing out in people, I'm just like immediately like power, submissive, dynamic. But that just like totally made a person just feel like they belonged, kind of, you know?
They belonged kind of in this humiliating way, yes.
In
So
Wait,
this
I thought they
humiliating way.
wanted I think I missed the story.
no,
No,
but see, that's
they were
exactly it. People
yeah.
come here to be seen. I actually run a monthly with my business partner, Viola Parker. I run a monthly Femdom Munch here in Portland, Oregon. It was last night, and it is just we go to a local bar and everybody hangs out. It was a small one last night, so probably 40 people.
That's a lot of
And
people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not small.
That's not small, babe.
it ranges between like 40 and 80. It depends
Oh,
on the month.
wow.
It's very cold right now in Portland, and we're a bunch
Mhm.
of introverts who are like, you know what? Maybe I'll stay home with my dog and my like fuzzy slippers and blanket and
Mhm.
something instead of. But those are all people that connect and feel seen. They come and they meet other people and they talk about things that are completely vanilla, or maybe they're not. But the thing is that they're not stopping themselves from talking about things. They're letting their freak flag fly. um,
Mhm.
and they feel seen, they feel accepted. And my business partner and I have worked very hard to create this community in Oregon that is, you know, accepting of all of this stuff. We actually, the Pacific Northwest, Fodders Magazine just named Pacific Northwest the kinkiest place in the world, and my dungeon got a shout out.
Love that.
Yay!
I am thrilled for you. Now, obviously, with any type do we consider this sex work? Forgive my ignorance.
Um, I
Do
feel that
do
anything
you?
that involves sexual desire, any exchange for money, or support, sugar babies, certain housewives, and it's all sex work. It doesn't just have to be money for erection that does things. 'Cause
That's in my, Tinder profile. Erection that does things. Okay,
disgusting.
so as a sex worker, you obviously I don't wanna say obviously, but I imagine it's obviously always consensual. It always has some level of boundaries that both parties agree to. Have you ever been asked to do something that you're like, absolutely not, that is insane? Like, what is the weirdest thing you've been asked to do that maybe you declined?
Um, I've had people like it's been 31 years and
Mhm.
I've had some people, you know, run over my leg with a car and laugh about it. Not gonna do it. Um,
Oh my God.
s-
Okay, I
slice a
agree.
cheeseburger
Yeah, I
and
can't imagine why you turned that one down.
play with
Slice of
my
chili pepper and what?
stick the tip of it in my urethra. I did play with that.
I am so impressed, okay? I'm gonna be honest. The answer for me is no. You're not
Yeah,
running me
absolutely
over with the
not.
car. There is no chili pepper in my urethra. But look, to each their own, and I think you should be able to do whatever you want with your body. Princessa Natasha Strange, okay?
Yes.
Um, that answered my question far beyond what I was ever thinking I was gonna get from you. Okay. Um,
Um, I have weird limits that, I won't do, like, there's erotic humiliation and then there's degradation, and so I won't do
mm,
degradation on trans bodies,
mm.
or people of color. So there's those kinds of limits, but I like to provide a safe place to do a wide variety of things, and I would get bored. I would get so bored if it was just the same things over and over again.
How did you get started in this? Like, how does one person go, I am now going to become a full-time dominatrix? Like, how did we get there? And what did we do before that? Were we scooping ice cream and said this is too vanilla?
Um, quite literally to tempt
Yeah,
not.
literally, punch.
Um, well, it's very different now because now we have the internet and people talking about how much money they make on OnlyFans and putting forward these huge things, which likely most of the time are not true. The
Mhm.
way that I got started over 30 years ago was that I was going to college full time and I had a variety of part time jobs that I always had. And somebody was like, do you want to work at a fetish and fantasy house? My friend works there. And I rode my little motorcycle across the Bay Bridge in San Francisco to this place called Fantasy Makers, which was this amazing. We lost it during the pandemic.
Mm.
Uh, it was this amazing fetish and fantasy house where I started as a professional switch. Sometimes I did girl shows, masturbation shows. I learned a lot about my sexuality. I learned about a lot about setting boundaries and setting expectations with clients. Um, and people in general, because a lot of kink is just about setting expectations and boundaries. And I think that if more people worked that into their life, they would be happier. Because most
Mhm.
of life's great disappointments become because the expectations were not set properly.
Mm.
I'm seeing a path to you becoming a life coach here. I'm like, if you ever
Absolutely.
get bored, if you're like, this is enough, just go straight to being a life coach.
How could this be
It
boring?
is.
This is never boring to me, and I have
Yeah.
tried. I have actually taken a life coach, like, but I incorporate that into my work because I want my clients to come and see me and be better people afterwards. So I have campground rules. Like,
Let's
you
hear.
are going to be a better person after we play together. Because the thing is that if I own you, even if it's just for a couple of hours every month, every quarter, every whatever, if I own you for that time, I want you to take the best care that you can of yourself because you're my property. Don't treat my property like shit.
Mm.
Oh, wait,
Mm.
that's interesting. So your client, it's like a monthly or a weekly, or it's not like a one time necessarily.
I see people occasionally for one time, but I really enjoy at this point in my life, I enjoy taking things deeper. I like like having like 3-day long sessions where people are just in town serving me. Um,
I
and
love the sound of that.
Yeah, me too. I'm into that.
I'm like, wait a minute.
um, it's the thing is that people come to see me and it is a lot of emotional labor because I am helping them discover things about themselves. So it's not just sitting back and saying, go get me something. It is also about that. Um, Because, I have a bit of a gifting fetish. I love it when people send me gifts.
Mm.
And I love having people in service. Like, one of the things I love to do is send them out to my favorite small businesses in Portland and have them buy me presents and, come and present them at my feet. But a 3-day session is also about having them, just immerse themselves into 3 days of kink and exploring themselves. I do a lot of play like that is all gender based, like men coming to live as femmes, and just explore that softer side of themselves for a couple of days. I also do like couples. Couples will come to me and they get to step out of the kids are at a babysitter. They are on vacation in Portland, which they're like going home going, hey, yeah, we went to Powell's. We ate some food
Mhm.
at some food trucks. We did all these things. And they don't have to talk about the fact that they were here and they saw a dominatrix and they sat in a restaurant and like went over a submissive contract that one of them was going to, you know, the things that the submissive was going to do, the things that the top was going to do. And like they step out of their whole reality.
Mhm. So, okay, let's dream for a little bit here, okay? Because I don't even know what's possible, okay?
Okay.
Imagine, or maybe don't imagine. Maybe I am your new client, okay? So, okay, Natasha, I in this scenario have hired you, and my wish, having never done this before, is for you to program 4 hours with me in your dungeon, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I know obviously you would probably ask me a lot of questions and blah, 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 blah. But if
Yes.
the entire bit was my kink is not having any say in it, right? You just know that Tyler has never done this before. I'm flying to Portland. I'm coming to your dungeon. You have me for 4 hours. Program that for me and the listeners. What are Natasha and Headmaster Mount doing? You're responsible for
Princessa?
programming it. Yes.
So if it depends, are we just staying in the dungeon? Like, are we stepping out?
You're in
No.
charge. You're in
And a,
charge.
and a
Program
lot
it
of
for
these
me.
things, well, because there's always limits. Like there are limits. Like maybe you're not comfortable being out in the world. Maybe
Mm.
you are. If
I'm
you're gonna
just
come
in the dungeon. I'm just in the
just in
dungeon
the
and I'm
dungeon,
comfortable with
we
anything. Go.
oh anything.
Yeah, let's hear.
Even the
Okay.
chili thing?
No.
So
Okay.
I have this chair back here. It's on hydraulics.
Uh-huh.
It is metal restraints and the hydraulics, I can adjust you to go anywhere that you are, that I want you. And while you're there, you're staring up into a mirror that is over the chair. I can do all kinds of things. We could see what Headmistress Mount would look like. And
Mm. Mm. Okay.
could do dollification and completely dehumanize you, put masks on, gag you, put headphones on you, play music. I've got a hypnosis machine called Anova Pro that will go in and play music and flashlights and you're just like set you down. So like you're talking about programming, we can program you to be whatever we want. The thing
Mm.
is that coming into this, there would be a lot of conversations about how you want to feel in here. Because while it is everything that I want to do a lot of fucking things. But the main thing I want to do is see a reaction in the person that I'm playing with, right? I want to see
Mhm.
them enjoying themselves. I want to see them terrified, but enjoying that terror because I love providing a safe place to be scared, right?
Mm. Knowing you're not actually going to kill me.
Yes.
So is there like a
Unless
discovery phase where you kind of just like see like people's reaction to certain things to
Yeah.
understand how they would respond?
Because especially when you're new, you come into the dungeon and you have been, you know, Tyler, maybe you've had these fantasies for a while and you've
Mm.
some pretty crazy shit with me in your head, right?
Sure.
I
True.
don't always know what the person has been doing in their head. They also show up and sometimes they think that I want to hear that they're more experienced or less experienced than they are, right? So
Mhm.
then they come in and they said, oh, I've got all kinds of I've read a bunch of books. I've done this. I've gone to parties. I've and then as soon as I get in their face, they're just like, oh God, what? And I break out a toy and then they're just like, oh, and I tap them and they're like, ouch, ouch, and we've talked about all of this stuff, but I can tell from the way that they are so jumpy and so, they want to be hurt, but then they're like, and I keep track of that. Like I have ways when I'm hurting somebody and I like to, it's not really about inflicting pain, it's about inflicting sensation. Because if you think about it, we all like different sensations. And some of those sensations are a little bit more intense, like when you're getting a massage. Some people like it lighter, smoother. Some people like a little deep. Some people like a little, stretch. But when we start talking about that in the terms of coming into a dungeon and playing, you can go into a massage therapist and be like, I like it a little deeper. I like to, feel a little sore tomorrow. But if you come into your like lover, your partner or somebody, you're like, I like it a little deeper. I want to feel it tomorrow. They're going to be like, what?
Exactly. Exactly. So I know you have multiple business ventures was within this community. I literally the second I found out your name, I pulled up your bio and I'm like, oh, girl does it all. Okay. So what you've kind of already explained this, but what is your greatest satisfaction in this line of work? Is it seeing other people being able to experience things they couldn't otherwise? Is it getting them sexually gratified? Like what is it that gets you off? I'm not talking about sexually. I'm talking about in this line of work. What's fulfilling for you?
Um, it, it is so much like, because some of the people that I've been playing with for like over 20 years. So I have watched them progress, and I absolutely love seeing people and watching them go from so nervous and so scared to like self confident and like occasionally going to their own play parties and learning to play with and negotiate with other people, learning about themselves, learning how to set those like boundaries and expectations at work, and then coming to me and going, I did this thing at work and I learned to you here in the dungeon. That was so cool. I love seeing couples and having them have a disconnect and being able to show them places where their kinks could overlap. Um, I absolutely love the queer community that we have, like, because Viola and I teach Femdom Boot Camp every single month here in Portland, Oregon, and every single month it is sold out. Last month, we actually had somebody fly across the country to stay in Portland and visit Portland and attend that class. So the fact that these like femmes and thems come to this dungeon in this like industrial building in Southeast Portland alone, that we have built a reputation for being a place that they can safely explore these things, that means the world to me. And the newest venture is I'm starting PDX Kink Week, which is a whole citywide week of kinky things happening here in Portland, Oregon. And it is a celebration of the small, weird businesses. We have a tattoo company that just signed on to sex toy stores, some regular businesses that just want to work more with, that serve the kinky queer community. So we're having all kinds of things. This is just, there's so much going on as we're building that, because it's in 6 weeks.
I'm obsessed with this for obvious reasons, but obviously I think of a dominatrix as the one who is doing the dominating, right? I
Mhm.
don't think that's crazy. If my kink was dominating a dominatrix, is that something you're okay with and being the submissive one, or is quite literally your job title to be the dominatrix and the dominant one?
So there's a difference between a top and a bottom,
Hmm.
dominatrix, submissive. Um, a top and a bottom. A top is somebody who does things. A bottom is somebody who has things done to them. A
Hmm.
top, a dominatrix or a dominant is somebody who demands service, demands, submission. And the submissive is somebody who does. I am a top and a dominant both. I do not
Mm.
admit I am not I started as a switch, but even then I was much more of a bottom
Hmm.
that was like, okay. And the thing is that I like doing things to people. I like being in control. I am not good not being in control of things.
Mhm.
So
What has been I mean, I imagine this isn't the most common job, okay? And there are a lot of less open-minded people who probably have their own opinions about the job and you. What is backlash that you have received, whether that's online or in person from what you do, whether that's a stranger, a friend, a colleague, or even family? Like, did you have to navigate, "Hey, guys, I'm a very public, out in the open dominatrix. Get over it"? Like, how did you manage doing something that is oftentimes really taboo?
um because I started so long ago and I've been doing this for so long, there's been points in my life where I've tried to like not
Mhm.
be out about it, but I always end up outing myself. I have definitely had issues with friends who, if you become friends with people and then they find out you're a dominatrix, they can feel sort of, I don't, uh, because people have strong opinions about it and don't always understand what it is that I do. I actually, after my daughter was born, I actually had somebody ask me, like, well, how do you know that your husband's the father? Well, because I don't sleep with my clients. And also I did IVF. So I'm, it
You're
was
like, so it's pretty clear.
it's pretty clear.
We're pretty sure on that one. So, okay, another question. It just keeps the questions keep coming. Okay,
Okay.
obviously you did this before you met your husband.
I did.
Okay, and your husband obviously has to be okay with this, or he wouldn't be your husband,
Yes.
right? Which I love. How do you navigate your personal life being married to someone while also being, I'll just use the word intimate loosely here,
Mhm.
intimate with strangers for a living? Obviously, he knew what he was signing up for, right? But like,
He did.
is does that ever play into making your even personal life more difficult?
Um, we are really good communicators, and because I was doing this before I met him, there was a lot of like as we were dating, figuring out what was right for us and how to communicate those things. I think it's like with any poly relationship. Um,
Hmm.
and we are not traditionally poly, but there are certain, everybody has intimate relationships with other people in their life besides the person that they're sleeping with. And so the relationships that I have with my submissives is definitely very intimate. But the relationships that I have with the people that, do coaching with me is also very intimate.
Of course.
So it's not always it's about communicating with the person. Again, it's the expectations and boundaries.
Broken expectations are the worst thing. And you just kind of triggered something in my mind. This time, I mean, the majority of today's conversation, I was thinking that you, and obviously no shade, I'm all for this, but it's like I did think that you did have like real, oftentimes penis and vagina sexual intercourse, and you're saying that doesn't happen.
That never ever happens. Although,
Wow.
I do have, like, a fleshlight,
Okay. Well, that's a
so
little different.
occasionally and I do have a giant cock with a balls and a little asshole, and I sometimes make them make sweet love to my little
Wait, so do we
but I actually m a vast majority of the people that I see don't have an orgasm.
that was my next question.
Sometimes it's because there's too much pain, and at some
Oh,
point some people, especially when they're younger, it's like a bunch of pain and they do come from the pain. But as we age, like sometimes, you need more pain and you just aren't as erotically, physically aroused when that pain comes. I also really, really, really like the idea of people coming to see me for other reasons. It's a mental release, it's escapism, right? And sometimes it's fun to let them come at the end, especially if I'm gonna make them eat it. But, um, but sometimes I like to get them really wound up and send them on their way, like in a chastity device or something, and tell them that they can only think about the activities. Go home and think about what you have done, young man.
Yeah.
And then, they can come like in 3 days. So
Wow. I am floored in like the best kind of way over here. I had no idea all day I was talking to a dominatrix, and like thank God I'm ending my day this way. Um oh my gosh. Okay.
well, and then
So,
the one reason that I want to say that is because so much of sexuality is in, like, especially like pop culture and porn and everything is aimed at the male gaze, right?
mhm, of
And
course.
so the male gaze i- is linked to the male orgasm, right?
Mhm.
And so having people come to me and expect that they're going to give me money and that I'm going to do things and then they're going to get to come. I like to turn that on the ear and like make sure that this is about me. This is about my pleasure. This is about my fun. So
Mm. Mm. Have
here
you in like
for 4 hours, I am going to do things that you enjoy on my terms.
I love this beyond belief. Have you been in a scenario like a role play or a session where you yourself role playing, okay, doing all the things that you like, inflicting pain and being in charge. Have you yourself been like, okay, Natasha, I have to scale it back because they're not telling me to stop, and now I'm actually concerned I'm fucking hurting this person. Like beyond the limits of like what is acceptable pain in the scenario. Do you ever you yourself have to like keep yourself in check and bring it back?
Yes, because people go into something called subspace and they get
Mhm,
endorphins from that pain. So it is up to me to understand what it is that they really want and how far to
mhm,
push them. They also come to me to feel unsafe and to have their limits pushed, right? So it is a lot of watching how their body is reacting because I've had people go into shock with me because they come in and I am doing something to them and their heart starts pounding and all of a sudden they broke out in a cold sweat and I can see the blood drain out of their face. And I'm like, okay, we're going to sit down and take some time.
mhm,
Like
mhm,
glass
mhm.
of water over here.
Okay,
Yeah. Um,
this is my last immediate question because I am just like so floored, and I haven't even let Ashley talk because I'm like, shut up, I have questions. Okay, so we let's just call a spade, okay?
okay.
Children, almost all of them, right, go through a phase where they're so embarrassed of mom and dad. Like that's just like a normal part of growing up. Without getting into the details, I'm like, does your daughter know what you do, and is that mortifying to her, or is she like, mom's cool?
Mortifying.
Also, how old is your daughter? I feel like that
So I have
subtext.
4 children
Okay,
um,
Oh,
between the ages of 16 and 40.
okay.
And
okay, so we're all basically or almost adults here.
yes. And the older ones all know what I do and are pretty accepting. I'm very close with 2 of my daughter-in-laws. Um, the other one will never ever see this because
Of course.
yeah.
Mhm,
Um, my youngest one, I've always been, you know, I teach I teach adults how to play.
mhm,
But at this age, she has figured things out. We try to approach things with kids at a very, it's not even age appropriate because there are different kids that are much more curious.
mhm.
And so with children, you need to meet them where they are and answer questions. And it can be difficult, but it is much, you know, it's either that or they find out about sex like I did by finding a penthouse magazine behind a bush on the side of the street.
Mm,
So,
behind a bush.
bush
Um,
porn. Yeah,
bush porn, that's a different type of porn
it is.
entirely.
And in the 70s, when I was finding them, bushes, big bushes were, yeah, so it
They
works
were in.
all the way that you would
They
think it.
were in.
Speaking of finding things, how do you find like your new toys, your new props, your like this hydraulic chair? Like how does one find that?
Oh my goodness. When I started, it was all Homo Depot. Um, going to finding pervertibles. It was very difficult to, like my favorite riding crop is actually still one that I bought for like cheap at the riding crop store at the riding shop. Um,
Mm.
and
Authentic.
Authentic.
It was great. It's short. It's perfect. So there's so many places to find things, and I'm actually a bit of a snob because I really like leather. All the kids
Mm.
today are really into latex and shiny, and
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I like leather. Um, and it's really hard to find good leather. It's split to infinity now, and it doesn't even smell like leather, even when it says 100%. Um, a lot of the stuff that I have is vintage. The chair that I got is from Germany. Uh, a lot of this stuff.
Is that like online shopping then?
Yeah, like we're just like
If you found it
wayfaring
in
this shit
Germany?
on
Yeah.
over.
Because like the way I kind of picture a convention, at the Javits Center.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like there's a community,
Oh no,
So
there's
I'm
a
like,
huge
everyone
community.
goes down. You see like the new toys, the new technology in the space. I don't
Yeah.
Mhm.
know. That's what I'm envisioning.
So I like to buy a lot of my stuff from small makers. So Etsy is the best, used to be the best place, but they shut a lot of that down. So now it
Sure.
is about finding those small makers. And that's one of the reasons I'm starting Kink Week, is just because there's so many amazing toy makers and kinky jewelry makers and just clothing and everything in Portland, but it's really hard to connect with them because they used to be all on Etsy, and now they're just like, "Whoa, I don't know, I have a
Mm.
website."
So as let me let you in to one of the doors of Tyler Mount. So I am quite traditional in the sense that like the thing that I love, okay, is like I love the chase, right? I
Mhm.
love not knowing how the night is going to end, right? That's why I'm not like, oh, let's plant like again, no shade, but like I'm not a grinder boy because like I don't want to like arrange a sexual encounter. There's nothing wrong with that. That just doesn't do it for Tyler, okay? And so I love the idea of like flirting, going on a date, specifically sitting at a bar side by side, right? And seeing if there's chemistry and then potentially being like, hey, do you want to come back to my place? Or they might ask if I want to come back to their place. Or maybe that happens on the second or third date. Okay. So,
Mhm.
so like that's about as crazy as I get. Okay. And I feel like that is obviously more common than what you do. Okay.
Mhm.
If someone, not saying who, wanted to get more in touch with their kinks while also navigating and battling, frankly, the oftentimes stigma associated with it, right? How would you recommend to anyone listening? Okay, because I think this is a great exercise in imagination. How would
Mhm.
you recommend to anyone listening? How do they start approaching getting more in touch with their kinks in a healthy and safe manner, assuming they don't want to just pick up the phone and call Natasha Strange and come over to the dungeon? Like
Oh,
how do we get there?
first, I would never answer the phone. If that thing made a noise, I'd stomp on it. Um, so coming from somebody who used to buy ringtones,
Oh,
Same.
those were the
And a
days.
ringback tone, we
Oh,
love a ringback tone.
absolutely.
so it used to be the internet was a great place to find stuff like this, but right now it's very difficult because if you Google any of this stuff, you're gonna get a lot of porn. Some of the porn is like
Mm,
AI at this point. It's
yeah,
crazy. So it's hard to find what is actual solid information and what is, you know, somebody's fantasy that they wrote up as an educational blog post, or porn. So and porn is great. It is not always a good, it's never a good educational place.
sure.
Um, so a lot of it is about finding your language first and like finding the words and how to discuss the things that you're interested in. There are things like the Kinky University online, which I can send you some links.
The
Kinky University.
kinkyuniversity.edu. I love it. Okay,
um,
okay, okay.
just in case I did, because I always forget to promote this. I wrote a
Oh my god,
fucking book and I would
that
forget.
is why we're here. I'm about to get there, but tell us about the book, right? What
Okay.
can we expect by reading it and how do we get it?
The book started because years ago I used to do an online like podcast like this. Every Monday night for 2 hours I would answer kink questions, and people kept saying that the resources that I was sending them, did I have anything a little more approachable? Because a lot of the kink education stuff out there is very dry. Because we take, first off, there's a huge number of neurodiverse folks in kink because neurodiverse folks like me like rules and boundaries and we like to know what is possible, but also some of us don't fit in great with the rest of the world for reasons. So people kept asking me for something more approachable, and the fact of the matter is, kink is fun. Sex is fun. Kink is fucking hilarious, right? Kink is just like you just do weird things. I'm gonna be a fucking alien and abduct you and probe you and tie you up and erase your
Guilty.
memory.
Yeah.
So kink is about play, and so many of the resources that I had to give people were not playful. So this book is modeled after the color books that I was not allowed to have as a child because we were not those bougie folks. There's paper dolls on the back. The inside is puzzles. I don't know if you can see it.
Wow. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a maze. So this is one that's entitled Enjoy the Wrong Turns. There's a lot of color pages. There's word finds. There's a lot of just talking about what kink is and what kink isn't. There's a lot of talking about the things that are possible with kink and like giving people a language. And it tries to just be a fun, approachable way for people to learn about themselves. I also tried to very, very hard to write it from the female gaze, the queer gaze, so that there would be something other than what is out there. Um,
Well,
so
this is fabulous, Natasha. I have to be honest, okay? Like, I didn't know I was meeting a dominatrix all day, and you absolutely made my day. You also successfully helped me produce my mom's least favorite episode. Like, I already know I am getting a call, and she is going to hate every moment of this, and that brings me joy too. Sorry, Yvonne, okay? So, look, I know you have to go probably punish someone, and before you do, I just want to remind everyone listening that Natasha Strange is a badass in every sense of the imagination. She has done something that is very rare in terms of like following her joy and being unapologetic about it. And if you're listening and you're curious, I would absolutely encourage you to go get her book, King for the Curious, where you buy your books. Visit her online at natashastrange.com. And of course, if you want to follow her online, you can find her at serve_princessa. Natasha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
You have any last minute words for my mom, for people listening?
I'm just going to say that everybody has sexual desires, and sometimes they're non-standard sexual desires, and that does not change at any age. And I'm 57, so probably almost old enough to be your mom, and your mom might have her own desires.
Let's not. You know what I mean, Natasha?
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Let's not, because this just in, she doesn't. She's an asexual flower, and that's all I need to think about today. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I do like a little bit of mindfuckery.
Oh my God, of course you do. And I'm obsessed with the mindfuckery in every single stretch of the imagination. Natasha, we're going to send you back out into the BDSM dominatrix world. Thank you so much for sharing your talents and your non-traditional life with us. We appreciate it. And we can't wait to see what you do and who you spank in the future.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me. Awesome.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Ashley,
that was your ASMR moment. Like the way you gave me JoJo, that I was just like, I'm gonna let you do you.
Ashley, I am, as I like to say, not well. I learned so much, and I just immediately got over the immediate thought, which was my mom's going to listen to this. Like, I literally was just like, we're going to full send. We're just going to ask the questions.
Right in. Well, it was way less like crazy
sex.
Than I thought
it's more like power play. Right.
I kind of never thought about like the feeling component, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Ashley, if you were my dominatrix, what would you make me do?
Ooh. Oh my God. Coffee in bed, breakfast in bed. You'd have to deliver my dog to me.
Yep.
I'd probably have you rotate my body like a rotisserie chicken on the bed so I don't get bed sores. You know, just
Oh,
that kind of thing.
yeah, we definitely don't want that. I would also imagine that you would make me like carry you on my back to go get you
Mm.
a steak and a martini that I have to pay for.
I didn't know I was allowed to force you to pay for things. That's actually
Well, that's
good
what she
too.
said. She makes people
I
go
know
out and
she
buy
did. She
gifts and
did.
put them at her feet.
I
I'll put a steak at
accidentally
your feet.
just imagined you as my butler, but it could be so much more.
Yeah,
You'd
but
probably have
if
to like carry me through the streets. We'd go to Bergdorf's.
oh,
There's just like a lot to be done in the big
there's a
city.
lot to be done.
You'd probably have to move back with how
I
much you
guess
have to
that's
do.
true.
So you'd have to expand right back.
Right back to New York City. That would be your first task. You're like, you're my little bitch, and you're gonna move to New York City right now because Huntress Ashley wants you to come back to New York City, you little bitch. You know what I mean? Like I imagine
Yeah,
that's like the
exactly.
first
That's
task.
exactly what I would do. Yeah.
That's I love that. Do you think do you think there's a new career in your future, Ashley? Is this for you?
Um, I can't imagine myself being that confident with that, but I love it.
Same.
Love it for the people out there
Who love
hustling
it.
and doing it and who enjoy it. But
What
I
an
would
opportunity.
not be able to. And I know that.
And look, at least you're authentically yourself and you know what you like and what you don't like and what is going to work and what is not going to work
Amen,
for baby
sister.
Ashley. I
I
am
do.
out of breath.
I'm
out of
having
breath.
like so many thoughts and no thoughts at the same time because I was
let's
so,
hear all
like,
of the thoughts.
well, they immediately escape me the second I take a breath to say them is the issue. But I'm like, I didn't realize people leave the dungeon and then still are kind of like under
In
her
the role play.
control. Yeah.
Yeah. And a chastity belt? How do you pee with a chastity belt? That's
I
eventually
had
where I
so
went.
many questions about the chastity belt. I'm like, is it a physical belt? Who has the key?
Yeah.
Can
Well,
you see it under your clothes?
I definitely know there is a physical belt, and I would imagine she has the key. Like she's the only
Right.
thing
Those were
that
kind
could
of like
allow
low
you
hanging
to.
fruit.
And then I'm wondering about urinating in the
Yeah.
thing. We have more questions. I'll Google it later and then report back in the show notes. I'll make sure Kate
I don't
puts it
want
in
that
there.
on my Google history, so that's perfect.
Got it. Wow. We have transcended, Ashley, to a different place in our relationship. Like truly.
Truly.
I mean, wow. I never thought you and I would take a discovery call and an informational session with the dominatrix when I first met you 10 years ago. But boy, how things have changed, you know?
If I'm gonna be honest, I always kind of sensed it. I sensed this day would come.
You knew it would come.
Yeah, I
and
knew it would come.
by God,
Did
it
it.
did. Unlike all of her clients, some of which who don't come, you know?
Amen, sister.
And on that, Ashley, thank you so much for joining me for our first recorded episode in Austin and New York at the same time. And I'm so glad it was with Princessa because truly,
honestly,
what a badass. She kind of scares me, okay? And I think that is the point. She could absolutely mold me into a little pretzel and throw me out of a fucking moving car. God knows.
Well, the second she was like, I'm going to put you in this hydraulic chair, I said, bye-bye, Tai-Tai.
Bye-bye. I'm going right through the fucking roof. Well, Ashley, as always, thank you for joining me on this episode of, I almost said Owning Manhattan. What is this called? Wildly Unprepared with
Tyler Mount.
I love it. If you like today's episode, and God knows you did, be sure to give us 5 stars wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, you can always follow me online at Tyler G. Mount. I hope to see you next episode, and I hope you're prepared because I certainly won't be. Love you most, Ashley.
Love you.
Love you most.
Love you most,
Love you most. Love you most.
Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. Love you most. I love you the most.
Wildly Unprepared is hosted by me, Tyler Mount, and Ashley Enterbag, executive produced by Kate McGarrigle in collaboration with Henry Street Creative. Please be sure to give us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform and tell your friends that you just found their newest obsession. We love you so much, and we couldn't do this show without you. Okay, I'm nervous and I don't know how to finish this, so you should just shut this off now. Is anyone still with me? Just my mom? Okay, bye, Yvonne.